So we've been here before. Another Paldean regional variant list. Only this time it's for the DLC coming later this year. I think a handful of new forms are something that we can obviously expect to get through the hidden treasure of Area 0, just like we did with both the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra in Sword and Shield. Now, how many will we get? I don't know. I was expecting way more than the 2 we did get, but I can rant about that some other time. I just know it'd be a real shame if we got none. So I'm giving you guys my top 5 Paldean forms that I want to see in the Scarlet and Violet DLC. As per usual, these designs were done by Alicia Bell, so make sure to go show her some support. With that said, let's just hop right in. Kicking off our list today is ya boy's favorite, Galasopod. Galasopod is definitely a big favorite from the 7th generation of Pokemon for many people, and I'm no exception. It looks like a big tough guy, but that emergency exit ability tells a different story. RIP to Guzma's Scizor. You really got screwed there, buddy. So, of course, just having Galasopod back in the games could be good enough for some people. But for me, I'd like to see a new take on it. So without further delay, here's my Paldean Galasopod. Unlike its Alolan counterpart, the Paldean version does not take its inspiration from the samurai, and instead from the warriors of, you guessed it, Spain. With much tougher armor, Paldean Galasopod takes on the Bug Steel typing, a very good yet fragile typing to have. For its stats, we're going to give it a nice bump to its defense from 140 to 150, and a nice swapping of its special attack and speed, making it 50% faster. However, these aren't the only changes I want to give Paldean Galasopod. No, I want to give it a new ability too. Instead of swapping out once its HP falls below half with emergency exit, it charges straight ahead into battle, sharply raising both speed and its physical attack with Battle Cry, making it a real scary Pokemon to be put up against. Finally, for moves, you'll have your usual suspects of First Impression and Leech Life for bug coverage, new additions in Iron Tail and Smart Strike, and then of course some other coverage moves like Brick Break, Throat Chop, and Razor Shell. Galasopod was one tough customer before, but I believe this form change takes it to another level. In our number 4 spot, we have Bellossum. Now, you OG Mystic fans may recognize this Bellossum from my Hisuian form video from October of 2021, and I'm sure you can understand why I did. It's just that good. The concept would pretty much stay the same as the reasons still fit here. Instead of hula dancers for inspiration, we have the traditional Japanese geisha type of design, which fits very well with Kitakami should it make an appearance there. The sunlight from this region of the world allowed Bellossum to grow fairly large with more flowers than it knows what to do with, turning it into a grass and fire type. I also wouldn't be doing the design justice if I didn't talk about the lore Alicia wove into it. The kinds of flowers that would be represented in its crown are vast and full of meaning. The Sakura, which represents a time of renewal and the fleeting nature of life. The Tsubaki, which represents humility, discretion, and perfect love. The Spider Lily, which represents final goodbyes and the cycle of life. And then finally, the Kinmonkusei, which represents a noble person and truth. Just absolutely beautiful. Like last time, I feel its abilities should stay the same, but definitely is in need of a stats adjustment, bumping that special attack and speed to 180 respectively, while lowering special defense to 90 and physical attack to 50. It'll have mostly the same moves, but with the fire type twist. Mystical Fire, Heat Wave, and Burn Up as its last-ditch effort move. Normally, I don't like repeating concepts, but I had to make the exception for Bellossum because it was just too good not to. Taking the bronze medal today is the compressed Pokemon from the Unova region, Giggleth. Now, Giggleth is a Pokemon I feel doesn't get too much love, and that might be because Unova hasn't gotten the love it deserves either. Although I do feel that sentiment is changing in the community a bit lately. Unova Remix, anyone? Anyhow, here's its Paldean form. This form of Giggleth came about from the sheer amount of time that they've existed in the land of Kitakami. In fact, recorded history shows that there are earlier sightings of this Giggleth appearing in Kitakami compared to its Univin sibling, possibly making this version the true Giggleth. It sports the rock and ghost typing, a combination that is desperately needed in Pokemon. As you can see, the stones protruding from its body have been even further compressed, turning into pure diamond in the process. But as their bodies have gotten up there in age, the rest of it is beginning to erode. So when looking at its stats, they stay mostly the same. However, it trades some attack for even greater defensive power, rocking a still respectable 115 in attack and 150 in defense. Abilities should absolutely stay the same here. Then finally, for additional moves, Paldean Giggleth needs moves like Shadow Ball and Shadow Claw. But maybe we could give it a signature move too. I like the idea of Scared Stiff, a 70 base power ghost type move that has a 25% chance to freeze the Pokemon taking the hit, with an additional 25% chance to freeze if that same Pokemon hits the Giggleth with the physical move the next turn. Yeah, talk about a pretty solid move there. So yeah, this Giggleth might not be as strong and might still be slow, but darn it, it's a beast. In the number 2 spot is, well, another reused concept. I hope you all aren't too mad at me, but I loved this one too much. So this is just me trying to manifest its creation. We've got my number 2 pick for my previous Paldean forms video being Politoed. I couldn't resist. This thing was just so cool that I had no choice but to feature it again. Like last time, Paldean Politoed will be based on the Iberian frog, a vulnerable species in that region of the world, providing inspiration of its ghost and water type combo. It also gains some lore from the Ogama, a Japanese yokai that come about when a Japanese toad turns 1,000 years old. It hunts with its rainbow-colored breath and as well as spears that they use to attack humans with. Now, last time I didn't really go over any stat changes, as I thought it might just be fine to leave them as is. Well, I'll change my mind on that front and spruce this guy up too. Let's make it a speedy mixed attacker. 100 for special and 90 for physical, with its speed hitting a nice 105. That means its bulk looks like this: 70 HP, 65 defense, and 70 special defense. As for abilities, it needs to keep Drizzle and Damp. But squeezing Anger Point in there somewhere feels like a good idea since they were very aggressive when provoked. For coverage, it's looking at moves like Shadow Claw, Play Rough, and Tri Attack, in addition to its typical water type coverage. Once again, I'm showing my Johto bias a bit here, but I really don't care. It's a dope concept, and I think most of you can get behind that too. And finally, we have our number 1 spot. A Pokemon that maybe some of you feel should be lower since there are so many other great designs here today. But I believe that it should be in the top spot today purely for its uniqueness. That Pokemon is Seaking. Yes, the often forgotten goldfish Pokemon of Gen 1. Seaking has never really been a looker, and honestly, not much feels special about it. But I want to change that today. Just getting straight to it, here's my Paldean Seaking. Yeah, it's definitely pretty strange, but I'll explain just why it looks like this. You see, this version of Seaking is based on the mosquito fish, an invasive species to Spain. They were originally brought there from the United States to combat disease-carrying mosquitoes. And you know what they say, you are what you eat. The Seaking brought to this part of the world were on a mission to take out various pesky insects, ending up the way you see here today. A long, narrow horn that's perfect for sucking its enemy's blood, resulting in its deep red coloration. Additionally, it sprouted wings, giving it the ability to traverse sea as well as air. That's right, this Seaking is a water flying type. As for abilities, Swift Swim feels pretty good to keep on. But let's switch out Lightning Rod for Motor Drive and have that be a regular ability. As for the hidden ability replacement, I want to give it a brand new ability called Hive Mind, which works essentially as a bug-type steel worker. Then, for moves, naturally, we're gonna want to give it Lunge, Leech Life, and of course U-Turn. I know this Sea King may be a hard sell for some of you, especially since we have so many interesting concepts today, but I genuinely felt the pure weirdness it showed off was worthy of getting first place today. Well, there you have it, folks. My top 5 Paldean forms for the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Tell me, what'd you guys think? Did you enjoy today's video? Which were your favorite concepts? And finally, what regional forms did you want to see in the hidden treasure of Area 0? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. We're finally here in 2023, and I'm super excited for what this year has to offer us. There's potential DLC for Scarlet and Violet on the horizon, and who knows just what else Game Freak may have up their sleeves. It's gonna be really exciting times coming up for a Pokemon fan. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. I've got a really fun series starting up there very soon, and of course, have a weekly edition of my Should You Use series focusing on Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Also, if you're into fanfictions and what-ifs, check out Mystic Reads. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content on there, so come join me. Thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you all next time.